Hi, this is Maurice LaMarche, and that name will mean nothing to you nor the sound of my voice, unless I become the brain from TV's Pinky and the Brain, or Calculon, the star of all my circuits from Futurama. Oh, he is a bottle, so from Futurama.
Puny human, this is Morbo the newscaster. On tonight's news, you're listening to Still Toking with on the Darkening Podcast Network. I will destroy you.
Now I'm proving that this battle I am never losing. I'm choosing to ignore the cuts and bumps and bruises.
Hey everybody, welcome to another kick-ass episode of Still Toking with Season 6. Wow. I never thought I'd say that. But a couple of quick things.
Six or a season sick?
Sick. Yeah, sick.
Okay.
S-I-X.
Just checking.
All right, and there's the voice in my head as usual. On a real serious note, real quick, we just want to send our thoughts and prayers to everybody out in California that is dealing with that devastating mess of wildfires. So we want to let you know that you are in our thoughts and prayers. And secondly, I have to say this now. I have to say happy birthday to my granddaughter, Lila, 2 years old today. So now that that's all out of the way, we have some really cool stuff going on. So here's the voice in my head first.
Hey, it's in my head too, you know.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring you back on to announce the guest. But we have another announcement tonight, right? We added we added somebody to our online family.
Yeah, a new member to the online family. I don't know who's paying who, to be honest with you, but we'll figure that out later. But I want to welcome him aboard the Still Token gang, and Mr. Jeffrey Marks. It's a pleasure to have you join us. I'm looking forward to all the hoopla and the fun and games that's going to be part of season 6.
I'm just looking forward to see how many outfits he has.
Well, first of all, I got to go open my hoopla closet because I didn't know you wanted that today. But I have enough outfits that you won't see the same one for about a year.
Nice. Excellent. So welcome aboard. And
my pleasure. Seriously, for a serious second, I love the show. I love the people who work on it. I'm very happy to be part of the family.
Excellent. So Jeffrey.
Oh, I'm back.
Well, the other Jeffrey. So it's going to be Jeff and Joffrey. Yeah. Joffrey. Anyways,
I'll just change my name to Jiff. How's that?
Okay, that works. That works. But we have an amazing guest tonight.
Yeah, I couldn't break out, so I'm still kind of stuck where I'm at a little bit. If you notice, everything's gray. It's been that kind of a day,
including your hair.
Yeah. Well, hey, now I look in the mirror and I still see brown, so don't give me no bullshit.
Never mind. I'm not going to say anything.
Must be my eyes. So this is going to be a very interesting show. I'm looking forward to it. Usually I'm all full of fun and hoopla and trying to crack jokes and but I think this one might be a little too serious for me to be able to do that.
I agree.
Hell of a way to start season 6. You know what I mean? But it's important. This information is important. The problems that we're going to be talking about are definitely important. And just like a lot of other things out there, shit needs to be fucking fixed. Okay. So with that being said, let's bring in Susie Singer Carter. Welcome to the show.
Hello, I'm here. I've brought my hoopla with me, and you're right. Things need to be discussed.
Right. So just
change.
Just so you know, I'm sure you saw it in the opening credits. This is an 18+ show, so
yes.
If you slip, it's okay. If you say something you shouldn't, your agent calls you, not me.
Right. Exactly.
So, but welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you for having me. And already I'm like, I want to go into having fun with you and playing. And I wish that this topic was more fun, but it's just not.
Right.
And unfortunately, you know, I hate to be Debbie Downer, but it is what it is. You know, why we're here today to talk. I think to talk about my documentary.
Right.
No,
Right. And
yeah.
No Country for Old People.
Mm-hmm.
So, real quick before we dive into any like questions and things like that, give us a little background about what this is about, please.
The project is about. So I come to the table as a filmmaker, and I know that there is power in telling stories, and there's power in telling stories that touch the heart. So if you can touch the heart, make people laugh, and also feel something that might resonate with them, you have a better chance of getting information in and it resonating and percolating a little bit. And I did that with a short film that wasn't a documentary. It was a short film with Valerie Harper, who played Rhoda, it was her last performance. And it was a 20-minute film that was my love letter to my mother and Alzheimer's. And I wanted to show a joyous look at Alzheimer's. And I thought when I was going to do it, I was like, does the world need another Alzheimer's film? I don't think so. And then I did it. And sure enough, they did. And we were Oscar qualified. We went to Cannes. We won awards there. And it's not about the awards. And I'm not saying that to pat ourselves on the back, although Valerie Harper, it was just the most amazing performance. I can't say enough good things about that woman and what she brought to this earth and this everybody. She's just an amazing.
Right.
It was a wonderful film.
Oh,
and even more so knowing that while you were making it, she was battling brain cancer at the same time.
Yes.
There's levels of intensity there that she was able to bring to it. I loved it, and I love you as a filmmaker. So
Thank you. I felt very blessed. And when I remember first meeting her and she was walking towards me and she went to push my hair out of my face like my mother always did. And I said, oh my God, that's my mom. I mean, she just embodied her and went to hang out with her and loved my mom and my mom loved her. And it was just a very special thing. And I realized after doing that film that it touched people and it still touches people. So when my mother 2 years ago, almost 3 years now, was going through this horrific time with in a nursing home, a 5-star nursing home here in Los Angeles. And when we got through this exactly 6 months odyssey of hell, I thought I've seen so much that I can't unsee. I felt so much that I couldn't unfeel, and I needed to share with other people so that they weren't sucker punched like I felt like I had been sucker punched, right? Yeah, I thought I was a great caregiver for my mom, and she was one of my favorite people. I would do anything for her, and I literally could not advocate for her in this system. So I thought if I need to tell other people about this, and that's how the project got started, because I never thought I'd be doing such an intensive sort of, comprehensive expose on a system that's been broken for over 50 years. But indeed, that's what we've done. And I may need a bodyguard but at some point, but what the hell? We live once, and I thought, let it be me,
Right.
For once, when people underestimate you as a blonde, I figured that it'll work in my favor this time, right?
Susie, are you getting bad feedback or pushback from the industry itself for doing this?
Well, yes, but there will be more once it gets distributed, because we're working. We just signed with a distributor, but we did, of course, we did, and we do, and we continue to get that, and I was prepared. And I'll tell you, I was so lucky. And of course, the person I'm about to tell you about will tell you that there's absolutely 100% no coincidences in this world. But I my co-producer on this project is Rick Mountcastle, who is a former federal prosecutor, and you might have seen him being portrayed by Peter Sarsgaard in Dope Sick on Hulu's. They did a miniseries about the OxyContin manufacturers, the Sackler family and the Purdue Pharma, and he was the main prosecutor that went after that family, and really a fierce, incredible human being. And if you didn't see it because it is quite extraordinary. My brother had a very bad issue with OxyContin, so it was very eye-opening to me. And Michael Keaton is extraordinary in it. At the end of that series, the last episode, you find out that Rick's next case is another pharmaceutical, which was Abbott Labs, and they were going to take them down for off-marketing a drug called Depakote to nursing homes. And Depakote is for it's an anti-seizure medicine, but in nursing homes they use it to chemically tether their residents. And my mom was a victim of that. So I didn't know when they had put her on Depakote. I thought that her Alzheimer's was progressing, but in fact, her regular doctor had called me about 3 months after I started noticing the change, and she became incontinent. She went from walking 5 miles a day, incredibly healthy, to absolutely, immobile in a wheelchair, couldn't walk again. So, and the drug is also a black label drug, which means, for people that it's off marketed for, it can be deadly, and usually is. So I had invited Rick Mountcastle to be on my show because I thought, here's this hero, because I have a podcast called Love Conquers Alls, ALZ, which is to continue the conversation that we started with my mom and the girl. And I said, tell us about this phenomenon of this is what you see when you go into nursing homes. You see people that look like zombies.
Yeah.
Well, it's not because they're old or they're sick. It's because they're being medicated.
Yeah.
They're medicated.
Who's authorizing these medications?
Nobody. No, they're just doing it. I was my mother's conservator person. I was her medical conservator, and I never knew. And they just get a doctor to say, listen, this person is agitated. We need to put them on, some kind of medication. So there's a whole bunch of cocktails that they put them on. And if you don't ask or know to ask, you're just not going to know.
These cocktails, Susie, are they meant to just control everybody so that the work is less for everybody working there?
Correct.
That's so counterintuitive to the whole purpose of having nursing care.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Right. I mean, but let's get the truth out. And the truth is that these are not set up to do what they're advertised to do, which is to take care of frail and vulnerable people. It's set up to make money, and it makes a lot of money for the owners. And it is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Wow.
And there's virtually zero oversight, zero enforcement of regulations, and zero accountability.
Susie, you have some numbers. Let's shock our viewers with just numbers. So people who go into these homes, they give up their savings, they give up their Social Security, they give up whatever income they get from whatever source.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are circumstances where they're barely being even seen every day, or for 5 minutes or for 20 minutes all day long. And how much are some of these guys making who own these places?
How much are they making? Oh my gosh, they're making hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Many of them own franchises of them. And because this business model is set up like a criminal enterprise. It's set up just like mafia. It's set up with, washing their money. It's set up where they will buy say 10 nursing homes. And then what they do is they own the real estate for it. They own the real estate company. They own the management company. They own the vendors. They own the pharmaceutical, the pharmacy. They own these. They're called related parties. And then they jack up the prices and then pay themselves these high absorbent prices, and then tell CMS, which is the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare, that we're losing money. We're in the red. We're going bankrupt. We can't afford to keep these facilities open. We need more money. And in fact, they will get more money. CMS will approve more money, and still they're bankrupt, and still they're not being taken care of. And the business model relies on understaffing, because that is the biggest part of anybody, that's the biggest line item in any business is staff. So they understaff. And so not only are the residents victims, you've got the staff that are victimized because they can't do the job that they're supposed to do. And most of them are leaving with moral injury. They can't sleep at night. They know that they're not able to care for the people that the way they're supposed to. Many, certified nursing assistants who are really doing the bulk of the work, the registered nurses, of which there's never enough in any of these facilities, they're going home at night. They're taking care of 30 people per one person. You can't just do the numbers. You can't, there's not enough time in the day to take care of, and let alone give them a quality of life, speak to them, have a social life. This is not an institution. These are homes. They're called nursing homes. And that's the farthest thing from what they really are. So when you've go on.
No, neither nursing nor homes.
Exactly.
They're not providing either one, but they're sucking up all the money from these people.
It's stealing everybody's life savings is what they're doing.
Well,
Yes.
especially, so it's interesting that because Medicaid is what you're talking about. In California, it's Medi-Cal. Most people that have a progressive disease, especially if you're lucky enough to live to a ripe old age, you may get Alzheimer's, you may get dementia, you may get Parkinson's. And so they're progressive diseases, and they can last a very long time. And like my mom, you can run out of a very nice nest egg that you have. Mm-hmm. And when you can't afford these exorbitant prices of nursing homes and assisted livings, which are, across the country, we're talking between, at the lowest end, $8,000 a month and the highest end, $15,000, $20,000 a month for bad care. So when you get to the place where you can't afford it privately anymore, you're going to go on to Medicaid, and they're going to make you pay down everything, because you have to, in order to get Medicaid, you have to pay down, and that's what you're talking about, Jeffrey, all the rest of your assets. Yeah. And you have to sign your Social Security over, and you have to leave your health insurance that you have had your whole life with your doctor that knows you and knows everything about you. And now you're being seen by a staff doctor. And if you are ever seen by them, it's a miracle, because everything seems to be performative. So a lot of things are performative. Yeah.
This is so important. Jeff J and I, Jeff J and Jeff G. Jeff J and I were talking before the show started that we have skin in this game. We either currently have or have had loved ones who had to go into the nursing home system, and we've seen some of what you're talking about firsthand. So everyone who's watching, don't think this isn't about you, because we're all going to have to deal with this if we live long enough, either our seniors or our own level. When you wanted to if I could talk creative for just a second,
sure.
And you want to do a documentary about this enormous, important topic, how did you decide what should be included in a documentary, and how did you get access to do what you did?
So going back to Rick Moncastle, when we finished our interview, I was right in the thick of what was going on with my mom. I was playing whack-a-mole. Like I could not believe everything that was going on. And I sort of he was so nice, and I just sort of all over him, right? And he said, I just want to tell you, I prosecuted nursing homes for over 20 years as part of, the federal government for fraud. And he said, and no matter what, he said, each individual case, whether I won or not, nothing has changed in 20 years. That this is not just your issue, Susie. This is a systemic crisis. And he said, you need to take these people to court, not for, to make money, but to get them on record. That's one thing you need to do. 2, you're a filmmaker. I saw your film. You should tell people about this. And I said, it's interesting that you said that. I have been thinking a lot about that. And I have always documented my mom, for the family. And that's what we are. We're all filmmakers. We take film, had a lot of footage. And he said, if you do, I'm retiring this year. And he had his 15 minutes of fame from Dope Sick. He said, I've been wondering what to do with it. I'd like to throw my hat in the ring because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this system. And he had seen, he, as an attorney general in Virginia, he was like, people would come to him and say, please help me. This is what's happening. And he said, all I could tell them was that this is the standard of care. This is what you're dealing with. And I cannot change this. Like, he had no power to change it. So at that point, I thought, this is it. And I'm rolling up my sleeves, and I am going to tell as much as I can. I'm going to learn this system from the best experts. I'm going to talk to the best experts, which we did. We spoke to over 70 people who have been advocating for, some of them for over 30 years, 40 years. Our fiscal sponsor is the National Consumer Voice for Quality Long-Term Care. They have been in business since 1974. Ralph Nader started them.
Right. So
if that doesn't tell you how long this has been going on, it's too long. And people aren't suffering, they're being tortured. And it's like, I call it warehousing. It's human warehousing.
Yeah.
And every day that goes by, because I know I was there every day. Like, I put my career on hold and was like, moved to the, wherever. I can't say where this place is in Los Angeles, and I have to say the 5-star facility in Los Angeles, but I had to move closer to it so I could get to my mom on a daily basis. Because if I didn't, she would be left in a room with no air conditioning, and flipped or not, and kept on a G tube that she didn't need, so they didn't have to feed her because there wasn't enough people to help her recover from the stage 4 wound that she got from them. And can you imagine people that have no one to advocate for them at all? It's so frightening, and it's only going to get worse because our older population is becoming larger and larger exponentially. Right. And we're going to hit a peak where it's like, there's no other way. So that's why I thought it's now is the time. We have to pull the curtain back and let people know. And listen, people don't want to talk about it. People, it's not pretty, it's not sexy. And my mom and I used to go, la, 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 we're never dying, la, 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 and no one wants to think about it. And I would tell my mom all the time, Mom, we made a deal. You're breaking the deal. You're stopping a troublemaker, trying to make her laugh, whatever. But the point is that we all going to get there. It's not just my mom's story. This is all our stories. It's my story, your story. And no one is, it's equal opportunity. Unless you're in the 1% or the 0.5%, we're screwed. We're screwed.
Susie,
yes.
So we spent half an hour talking about the problem, and it's even worse than we're talking. I mean, I know it goes deeper and worse than this. Solutions. Is there something in place in our legal system that can help people? What does one do if one is the one who's in the system, or right, one's parent or dear friend or uncle? What can we do when we sniff out that no, they're not being taken care of properly? What are the solutions?
The solutions, there are no real solutions, right? The solution is don't leave your loved one alone. Be there, be the squeaky wheel. The rumors of retaliation are absolutely true. They happen all the time, you become that family. You become that family that nobody wants to talk to because you're actually there and caring and calling them out on their shit. And then, you know, you also get gaslit. It's like, my mom needs to see this wound doctor. We're looking into it. We're looking into it. We're looking into it. So the truth is the whole system needs to change. While we're in it and before it changes, what's the best thing you can do? You have to be there and speak up. That's all you can do. That's the best you can do. And eventually you'll get something that you want. Don't let up on them. Don't let them off the hook. And don't believe them. If you feel in your gut that something's wrong, it is. It is. And if you see it, you know it. Don't let them, because I could tell, I walked in and would see something and they would literally say to me, no, she's fine. That's okay. That's normal. No, you know when it's not normal. There are ombudsman programs that are put into place. They are underfunded. They are run by volunteers. They have no, you know, unfortunately, they just don't have the teeth to help when there's really a bad issue. So that's why I'm beginning to mobilize a movement called ROAR, which is respect, oversight, advocacy, and reform. And we need warriors. We need a movement like the women's movement. And we need to go out and let our politicians know that we know what's going on. And let me mention, why is this all happening? Because there is a lobby, a nursing home lobby that is fiercely strong and fiercely rich. And they fund our politicians' campaigns, and they're seated in our legislature, and they embed themselves everywhere. So they work very hard to keep everything status quo. So if you do traditional advocacy, Jeffrey, which has been going on for 50 years, really good people spending lots of time writing great bills, getting them to Congress, getting them to the legislatures. And then even if they get passed, they're not enforced. There's no oversight. So when you've got politicians getting, you know, their campaigns paid for by the very people that don't want any change, that's a big issue. So we can change it. Our currency is as constituents. That's our currency.
All right. I want to throw in a little bit about, because this is right here, right now.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of dealing with this right now.
Yes.
My wife and I. Okay. My mother-in-law is in a what do they call it? It's an assisted living, but on the there's a term for it. The mental side of it.
Is it skilled nursing? Is it memory care?
It's memory care.
Okay.
So she's in the memory care unit, and this went down last July. She lived with us for about 7 months.
Okay.
After I lost my father-in-law, too much. It was too much. We're trying to work. It was just we couldn't do it. You know. So they came out and they did an evaluation. You know, and my wife's very good. She's been a nurse her entire life. Okay. She worked in the emergency room for decades. Okay. So she knows what she's doing and she knows what she's looking for. Her and her brother settled on this place. They sent some people out to do an eval. And when the eval was over, I told my wife, I said, they're wrong. They're wrong. All she needs is a little bit of assistance. So she's going to go into the assisted living and she can take care of herself. And I'm like, she can't.
No.
You know? So I feel as though they conned us at a lower price to get her into the assisted living side of this facility.
Right. Mm-hmm.
1 month later, they said, oh no, she needs more care. She needs to go to the memory care.
Right. Yep.
Which added a whole shit ton more money.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
It was a con, but you feel stuck. Now what do you do? Okay. And my wife is on the phone pretty much every single day, trying to deal with the medications and the doctors and you know, the pharmacies and why aren't you getting this? And we don't have these pills. Well, how come you don't have them? The doctor was supposed to send them last week.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it seems a little ridiculous to me that when she was in the assisted living side, my wife would set up 2 weeks worth of her morning and evening medications in the
Right.
little pill boxes.
Right.
And then the nurses or whoever it is would distribute that. Okay, no problem. As soon as she went to the memory care side, oh no, we can't do that anymore. These all have to come from the pharmacy, bubble wrapped individually and
Right.
completely labeled, and then it costs twice as much to
Right.
distribute the medication.
Right.
What the fuck for? Take them out of the pill box like you were doing before. It made no sense.
Right.
You
Because
know what I
memory,
mean?
I do. Memory, we just had that conversation today. Memory care is a marketing tool. It's just a marketing tool. There is no memory care in any of those. Trust me, my mom had Alzheimer's. I know this for a fact. There is no memory care. It's just a place to put them where it's easier, with behind a locked door so they don't get
Yep.
out, which many of them still do. I have, a family in our documentary whose mother got found dead outside, and they take no responsibility. They don't know how she died. They
Well,
don't know.
my dear, one of my closest friends in life, Dawn Wells,
Yes,
Marianne
I know
on Gilligan's
Dawn.
Island. Dawn started having mental issues. I don't mean nervous breakdown. I mean memory, loss of memory, and a little loss of reality. And she eventually ended up in a memory care kind of place. Dawn walked out. I mean, this is at the height of COVID. Dawn walked out the front door and went for a walk looking to go home. And in that walk, she got COVID and she died.
Right. Right.
Because they weren't even, and she's a big star.
I know.
And they weren't even looking to make sure she was okay.
This story is told every single day. Jeff, I'm just saying, I feel for you. My heart goes out to you. I know this. My mom, very similar to you, when my stepfather, right before my stepfather died, my mom and him were going to move into a assisted living together. He died, and they just said, my mom can't go in there without him in the regular side. She has to go into memory care within a week, because they just stuck her in memory care. She wasn't even eating because she didn't remember to eat. Right. So my mom's not remembering to eat. She was so skinny. She was crying. She wasn't dressed when I would go to see her. In 1 week, I said, pack her bags and rags. We're taking her to my house. That's when I brought her to my loft. And I was like, no, she can't be here. And they were like, you're experiencing caregiver stress. And they gave me chicken soup for the soul or whatever as a consolation prize. And I said, F you, my mom's going home and with us. It was outrageous. And they had her standing in line for her medication. There's things this show is too short to tell you everything, but there's things called the formulary, and every facility has a formulary for drugs. So depending on whoever, and the pharmaceuticals fight to be on those formularies, because that's how they make their money. Right. So if your mother-in-law's drugs weren't on that formulary, and maybe they have a deal with the people that bubble wrap it, and they have this, so this is how they do it. And then it takes the responsibility off of their staff. I don't know how many staff they have in their memory unit. I know with my mom, there was probably about 60 people in the memory unit, and I never saw more than 2 people in there. And this is an expensive place. And, because most of them look like zombies because they're medicated. So I'm sorry, that's the truth about memory care. It's just not that. It's just not good enough, and it's not researched, and it's not. I've been in the Alzheimer's community long enough now to know all of the people that have been advocating for person-centered care, which doesn't exist, and that's what we really need, is person-centered care, because people that have Alzheimer's or dementia are still there. They still can communicate, and they still feel pain and love, and can laugh and can sing and want to eat and enjoy. It's just different, but they don't have time to know that. And they don't have time to to interact with those people, and there's a lot of stigma against it, and there's a lot of ableism that they just have Alzheimer's. They don't know. It doesn't matter. And you love your mother-in-law. You get it. She's there. She, right?
Well, oh, absolutely. And it, like I said, she lived with us for 7 months. Okay. My wife dealt with it a lot better than I could, obviously because of her background and being a nurse and everything else. But it got to the point where it was just so difficult. So we looked into having people come into the home.
Right.
Couldn't afford it.
Right.
It was ridiculous.
Right. Yes. Exactly. I know it. I went through the same thing with you. Exactly that you've gone through.
You know what I mean? We didn't want to put her into a facility, but it got to the point where our sanity was starting to disappear.
Sure.
And that was a very, very difficult choice.
Right. And it's like one of the ombudsmen that we interviewed who runs the Connecticut or the organization there. And she talks about, when I talk about human warehousing, it's like, if you're going to open your doors and you're going to call yourself a memory unit, a memory, facility, then you need to deliver what you say you're going to deliver, because that's what you're getting paid for. And you're getting paid a lot. And memory cares, like they spike up the prices, right? So, and you're desperate. They know that. So they take advantage of that. But if you're going to do that, you can't just warehouse people, but that's what they're doing. And that's what they're doing in nursing homes as well. So they're billing and they're making a ton of money. Hospice has turned into huge business. Hospice is the best because Medicare pays for that. And they can make up to $1,500 a day. A day. So they're pushing people into hospice all over the place, because all you have to do is put them on morphine at that point and keep them comfortable. And you're getting $30,000 a month off of one person without using any of your resources.
You were talking about personhood. These people are still there. If I may tell a very short story from my life.
Yes.
My grandfather, who I called Papa, was the father figure in my life. And when he got into his early 80s, he began to have a series of small strokes.
Okay.
In and out of hospital. Finally, my grandparents lived in South Florida. The hospital told my grandmother, there's nothing more we can do for him in a hospital. We need the beds.
Right.
Either bring him home or put him into a nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. He's coming home. I'll take care of him. 4 or 5 weeks later, she calls me crying. I said, what's the matter? I can't. I'm in my late 70s. I can't change his diapers and clean him and change. It's too much.
It's too much. Yeah.
Too much.
So they arranged, my mother and her brother arranged for him to go to a nursing home thousands of miles away from home because it was affordable. And I won't discuss my feelings about that decision. It wasn't mine to make. But I called my grandmother the day he was leaving. And she said, oh, they're here now taking him away. Wait, what? Jeff, he wants to talk to you. He hasn't spoken to anybody in weeks.
Aww.
And she puts him on the phone and he says to me, Jeff, you're still going to love Papa, even though it's not Papa anymore?
Oh,
He was so aware of what was happening to him.
sure. Of course.
And then to get put somewhere with total strangers because it was financially better
Right.
for the family, just...
It's heartbreaking. It's like, remember in my film, when my mom stops, she's having agitation in the middle of the night, and she stops and looks at me and she says, oh my God, you're my baby. Because she's looking for her baby. She's having, agitation and a little bit of like out of sorts. And she stops and then she says to me, you got to put me in a home. You got to live your life. My mom knew. And I was like, you're going, don't worry, hang on.
My grandfather died from pneumonia that no one in the family was told that he had.
Right. Of course
No
not.
one was called to say, hey, he's now in the hospital. He's got pneumonia. Maybe you want to come out here and see him because this is getting nothing. Just, oh, hello, he's dead.
Right.
Uh,
There's a massive amount of ageism in our culture, right? And it permeates the healthcare system, and decisions are based on that. They're based on that, right? And so you're going to hear time and time again, well, they're 80. Well, they're 85. God forbid you hit 90. Well, they're 90. Come on. This is normal. There's nothing normal about that. Nobody should get bed sores. That is the hallmark of neglect. It's even in the Center of Medicare and Medicaid's regulation rules. It's considered a never event. It should never happen. But they'll tell you to your face that that's natural. It happens. You can't avoid it. But that's just rhetoric. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. But I didn't know it. You didn't. You wouldn't know it unless you're in it. So, and if you don't know what a bed sore is, which I didn't, I thought it was a sore, like a little sore. They are the most egregious thing that you could imagine.
Skin grafts required.
Sorry?
Some skin grafts required. I've
Some
seen it firsthand.
It can go down to the spine if it's on the back where it's a cavern. Can you imagine the pain? That's torture.
it's a skin ulcer, basically.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's an ulcer, and it is horrible, and it's the seed for everything else that happens bad. It brings on sepsis and organ failure, and on and on and on and on and on. And all of that starts with neglect. And how many people die of just dehydration or malnutrition because they're not fed, and no one's looking. That's the problem. So the problem is huge, and it's been huge, and it will continue to be huge unless we as a collective, as a public, take issue with it, like publicly. We have to. We just have to, folks, because it's not going to get better. And we, everything in our health system is motivated by the dollar. And that's, so to keep us alive, people want to stay alive. So if you're going to want to live a nice long life, when you get to that age, just think about what's in store for you is frightening. You don't want to live long because the prospect of that is horrifying.
Susie, for people like us, our age, who have loved ones who need that sort of care, we can't change the system today. But let's say today one of us has to find care for a loved one. What should we, being is it ombudsman or ombudsman? I never knew. Ombudsman. So we're going to be the ombudsman for our loved one.
Right.
What should we be looking for in a facility that at least it's better than most?
Sure. So when you go to a facility, most of them are set up like, for marketing. So you're going to go in, and it's one of my experts calls it, buying the lobby. Don't buy the lobby, folks. Don't go in and say, oh, it's so beautiful. The lobby's pretty. They've got pastries out, coffees out there. They're, it's beautiful. Take a tour, look in the back. Go at an odd time, maybe say, listen, I don't know when I'm going to pop in. I'm going to pop in. Go when they're not expecting you. Talk to other residents. Talk to the people that work there. See how many people are working there. See if there's enough people. And you can talk to the residents who don't have dementia. And by the way, there are a lot of people that aren't elderly that live full time in nursing homes because of their diseases, and so you will find that we interviewed several people that are in their 40s and 50s, and they see it all, and they're very vocal about it, and they're not popular, right? So yeah, that's what I would tell you first of all, and then when you make your decision, then find out who the ombudsman is, make friends with them. Don't let the facility know that you're going to do that, because they're going to start labeling you right away.
How does one find an ombudsman?
So an ombudsman they by law are supposed to have on every floor a sign that is visible, a framed sign that says with all the information of where, if you have a problem or an issue, call this. If they don't have it up, then you're going to have to do a search online and find out who, but the Ombudsman Society, find out who is it for them. I would not ask the facility, like I said, because then it's going to trigger them to know that you've got your eye on them. If you can have a camera in there, if some states don't allow cameras, a lot of people, advocates have been pushing to change that, and a lot of states, I'm happy to say, have actually adopted the ability to use a camera. California, you can't, but if they do it, put a camera in your loved one's room when you can't be there, and keep an eye on them. You just have to be vigilant and make sure, because I can't tell you the ridiculous optics that go on where they're so busy. They'll put a glass of water, they're supposed to hydrate their residents. They put a glass of water down and that person is bedbound. They can't even reach the water to get it on their own. So they're not drinking. So if you have a camera up, you'll see that. And then you can tell them.
I don't know if you can tell, the three of us are just burning the steam. We were a cartoon.
I feel like so bad that I'm telling you all these horrible things, but I promise you, I'm not just doing this film and walking away. I am in it to win it. I am going, this is my purpose. And this is, yes, I'm doing other projects, but I put everything on hold for this. I've been working on this. We just won the Anthem Award, and we're not even distributed for the Gold Anthem Award for social impact for TV and film, and we're very proud of that. Why? Because it's going to help us amplify what we want to say. And Rick Mountcastle is incredible. He won that case against Abbott Lab, $1.5 billion. Problem is they just filed for bankruptcy, and then they just open under another name. But that's a whole nother story.
Right.
But he's fierce, and we didn't leave any stone unturned. We're in it. We're not going to leave, just go, hey, world, here's some really horrible information. Bye. I got to go do a rom-com. No, we're in it to win it. And
there's the hoopla.
Yeah. I like whoever said hoopla. It sounds like it's like a bubala, a hoopla. I've got it there. So I think I encourage you, whoever's listening, to go to our website, look at, watch a couple of the trailers, maybe the sizzle, which is 25 minutes, and then go to the movement page and sign up to be a part of it. And, let's be heard, and let's make them, listen, at least in California, Gavin Newsom is definitely priming himself for a big seat soon. You're right. He's taken money. We talk about him in the documentary. He's taken money from the most notorious here in California.
Unfortunately, I want to throw this out there. It's not just the assisted living and the nursing homes and such. It's also the hospitals.
Right.
Okay. Understaffed. Okay. I go to a hospital around here, and you're in a cot in the hallway.
Yes.
For 2 days because there's no beds.
Yeah.
Nope.
And they're better. And I do talk slightly about it, but it's such a massive conversation that we just said, let's just concentrate on long-term care. But you're absolutely right. That is an issue. But they work together. We do bring up, the fact that, first of all, COVID was very instrumental in pulling the curtain back on this systemic crisis, because when these understaffed facilities started having what staff they had to be quarantined, they were left with nobody. And that's when people were being isolated and locked in their rooms. And within the first year of COVID, over 200,000 nursing home residents died, not from COVID, not from illness, but from failure to thrive.
Neglect.
They were locked in their room.
It's neglect. Yeah.
Neglect. And and I asked our expert, Michael Wasserman, Dr. Michael Wasserman, how many of those people died alone? Most of them during COVID. Can you imagine? And I say that number, I always say, I have to say it again, 200,000 people. That's more than Vietnam. You know, our soldiers. We didn't lose that many. 200,000. You know, that is a massive amount. But that's so emblematic of the fact that we are such an ageist society because, well, they were going to die anyway. Well, so are we. We're all going to die anyway. People deserve to have dignity and deserve to live the life and that they deserve, and also leave the life when they want to, not before.
Susie, your wonderful film, you said, is just now getting wider distribution. For all of our friends out there who are watching, if they want to see your film, how can they get their eyes to it?
Please go to our website again. We just starting. We will have. It's going to be on a premium streamer because it has to be available to everybody. We just signed with a really good distribution company agency who's very well known, and we're very happy about that. And we're doing all those things. We're uploading everything. Everything's in motion. We should have an announcement soon. I want to coincide the release of it with a huge movement. Right. And that's the goal. You know, we need eyes on this. We need ears, and we need media. Need a lot of media on this.
There needs to be
money for the yes. We raised all the money ourselves, and we didn't go to industry for it. By the way, we were very careful. Rick said we're not taking any blood money, and we didn't. We took zero blood money, and it's all from people, supporters, and we're very proud of that. We're still raising money. It's all nonprofit. If you're a philanthropist and you want to, help us with the movement, and we could really use more funding. And you can go to the National Consumer Voice for Quality Long-Term Care. They have it goes through there. They make a portion of it, and the rest goes to us. And we really appreciate it.
There needs to be a companion book to your film.
I just want to touch real quick. I've been quiet all night because this is very impactful. But all those links, folks, depending on where you're watching or listening to us, just check the show notes, the website, the link to the sizzler reel for this. And all Susie's links are there. So if you want to find out more or donate or get involved, just check the show notes.
Please. Thank you. I love it so much. And I'm telling you, like, this is such an important thing. And it makes such a difference. This will make such a difference if we can push this up the hill. It really will. I mean, look how it's affected you guys. These are, I don't know you all at all, but I just know that you have spirits and you are fierce and fun. And look what I did. I just put this huge blanket over you, and I feel terrible. But, let's get this fixed. And then, let's fix this for the people we love and for ourselves.
Right.
Susie, there's a time to tell dick jokes, and there's a time to be a human being on the planet.
Right.
This week, it's time to be a human being on the planet.
Right. And like I said, I mean, normally I'm very involved in the show amongst running it, but it was a very impactful show, and you could see how much it meant to you. That I was just zoned right into everything that you were saying. In my head, I'm going, what a bunch of assholes.
Right. Well, yes.
Like, it's just like Big Farm. It's all about money. They don't give a shit about people, and
no.
Yeah, it kind of burns me up a little bit. So I'm just going to leave it there because I don't want to lose season 6 before it gets started.
No, I appreciate it. And you know what? We should be angry, though. Everyone should be angry. And if you say, I'm going to take a pill one day and check out that way, that's fine too. But guess what? The money that they're taking is your money. We all pay into that. And why should they get it? It should go to who it belongs to. So that if you don't care about getting older or you don't care about older people, that's fair. That's your prerogative. But that you should be upset that they're spending your money. you know, and people should make money. Absolutely. They just shouldn't be raping others to get it.
Right.
And that's all that we care about. Everybody should be able to make a living, but also do what you promised to do, deliver that care.
Well,
So-
that's the biggest problem in today's world is people make all the promises and they just don't deliver.
Mhm.
They just keep taking and taking and taking and keep making these promises that they're never going to deliver on.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
shit needs to stop, and it needs to stop now.
Yeah.
We need to do it. We have to speak up. We have to speak up. So thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for coming on and sharing the story, first of all, but sharing your film. And, you know, hopefully it will help make a change. I mean, you know,
It
but at
has
least it's out there, you know, it's out there.
it has to. I believe in it. Listen, we've had some great movements over this past deck. You know, we've done some good work. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, but you know, we've had all kinds of great movements that have made change, and we can do this. It's not unheard of, and we do. You know, the whole project culminates in that kind of, we call it Aurora. You know, where you can see, you know, all of the movements, the Mothers Against Drunk Drivers and the women's movement, LGBTQ movement, and all those movements that have really made significant change.
Right.
You know, one of the people I interviewed, one of the doctors said, you know, it took mothers from hell for the disability movement to become successful. It's going to take daughters from hell to change this. And I said, I'm in. So we
Now,
just
you say daughters from hell. Is that because the sons just suck at it?
no, and just because he was talking to me. No, there's some wonderful male. No, there's as many phenomenal male caregivers who are just as important. It just, he was talking to me. It's going to take families from hell. Let's put it that way, to stand up, and that's what we need. And you know, I've never been that girl. I wasn't Shirley MacLaine, you know. I didn't go. I've never been that. I've always been the if it's not a problem, could I please you know, excuse me? But you can't. You just can't, because they don't care about you.
Right.
So
How's the media response been?
the media response has been so far very good. You know, I think that's been so far, knock wood. Harlan's been great. He's always great. And I think we're going to hit the ground running as soon as we have the exact date of our release. But so far the interest has been phenomenal. You know, there are some, of course, there's going to be some outlets that are going to not want to touch it because of conflicts of interest. Follow the money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not mention any places like Fox News. But hey,
What?
Fine.
and by the way, folks watching, Harlan, she's talking about Harlan Bowl, who happens to be both her and my publicist. And I know he's got you booked on everything. And
Bless his heart, lost his home this last week. So
and is still working for us, even though he's lost his home.
He is a phenomenal human being. There you go. That's resilience on a poster right there.
Yep.
That is he made me, you know, I just cry when I think about what an amazing human being he is. And yeah, he's working right now. I said, can I put together a GoFundMe for you? He said, there's other people that need it more. I don't know who that is, because you lost your entire home. So prayers to everybody here in LA.
As long as, Susie, as there are people like Harlan and you who care enough to be human and to take up causes and to not be greedy. Harlan is like the opposite of greedy.
Yes.
And then there's hope for the human race with folks like you. So you're an inspiration, I'm sure, to all three of us here today.
Well,
and by the way, I'm only talking so much because Ben has a cold. I'm trying to rest his voice a little.
Yeah, no, like I said, the show tonight, I mean, some shows that we just let the guest go because you can tell the passion behind what they're doing, and Susie's passion behind this project and behind getting the word out just captivated me tonight to the point where I was not interrupting her.
Oh my gosh, I'm
You
gonna
know?
cry. Well, thank
Well,
you.
If I interrupted too often, I apologize.
You didn't at all. No, I want to know what you want to talk about, because it is a big topic, and this will be a 3-part series because it's a 3-hour. It turned out to be 3 hours, so it'll be 3-part Richard docu series. There's a lot to tell, right? So just real quickly, I answer 4 questions. It's what happened, how does it happen, why does it happen, and then, like you asked Ben, how do we fix it?
What do we do about it?
Right. So I guess that means, folks, this is part 1 of our interview with Susie. So part 2, well, just pay attention. But we don't want to keep you all night. That's right, because I know you're very busy with other things, and we're a little over the time, which is fine by us. But any last from my peanut gallery?
Well, I'm not going to ask my typical questions because it's the wrong show for that. It's just the wrong show for that. But I do want to say that, Susie, you're very inspirational. You touched my heart.
Me too. From my first show as co-host, I feel so blessed to have been with you here, Susie.
Oh my gosh, I love you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Would you like to leave on a laugh?
Yes, please.
Big show business party. Ethel Orman is walking up a staircase. Sir Laurence Olivier is walking down a staircase. And as they pass each other, Mervyn says to him, "Hey, Larry, did you hear about the idiot who thought fuck king and suck king were cities in China?" And Larry looks over and goes, "No," and walks away very, very quickly.
You need some help, my man.
What did you say?
He said he needs some help. You want my padded cell for the night?
Oh my God, I love you guys.
I
Okay.
had to make everybody laugh. I had to go.
You had to go there. You had to go there.
So on that note, folks, I'm going to wrap the show up. And so, Susie, where do you like interacting with your fans on the socials?
Oh, I'm so bad at socials, you guys. I mean, I am there, but I'm on everywhere. You can find me on TikTok, Susie Singer Carter. You can find me on Instagram, Susie Singer Carter. You can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn. And I also have a dedicated Facebook for No Country for Old People, if you want to be a part of that community. And I try to be as active as possible. I will respond, I promise. And you can watch my hip hop dancing. I always post that. It's fun.
And there you go, folks. And all that is in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us.
That's it.
Geoffrey, where do you like interacting with the fans on your socials?
Well, there's Jeffrey Mark on Facebook. There's a Jeffrey Mark Plays Ella, which is the name of my radio show group on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, Jeffrey Mark Showbiz. I've just gotten on Blue Sky, but I haven't figured out how to use it yet. So give me some time and I'll get there. And I cut off X entirely. So don't go there for me. And, turn on your toothbrush. I'll be there somehow.
All right.
Your toothbrush? I don't even want to know where that thing's been.
Oh.
Yeah. Go to stilltalking.com or Talking with the Dead on Facebook. As far as me personally, just leave me the fuck out of it. Go to our pages. Don't look me up. There's too many of me's out there. I think I'm being duplicated.
Yeah, no.
No. And I do want to say when Ben first told me about this, the show, when I read the No Country for Old People, I thought, fuck, they're kicking me out already?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. At least let me finish my stint.
Nah.
No. And if you notice, I put myself in a nursing home here.
Exactly.
No,
Well,
Jeff, we need you. You need to stick around for a long.
I think we both put ourselves in the nursing home.
Yeah, you did. Or the funny farm, one or the other.
Hey, well, same thing, right? But no, in all seriousness, folks, we want to thank Susie for coming out and hanging out with us tonight, telling us her story, a very heartfelt impact story. That all the stuff is in the show notes up above or down below. Want to thank Mr. Jeffrey Mark for becoming part of our permanent online family. So he will be with us weekly from now on.
Yeah, I'll see how long I can put up with that.
Well, I'm waiting to see how long it is before you start dressing like him. And then when we go on tour, I definitely will request my own hotel room. Just saying.
No, I'm not even going to rise to that bait this time. But next week, come back next week, folks. I will have a comeback for that line.
I'm sure you will. But in all seriousness, to all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do so people like us can come up here and do what we do. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. We are out of here. Bye.
So come on.